go ahead.
At EMM, I guess we'll have to talk later about speaking to some of these resolutions. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting up and speaking on the one that we wrote on the fire equipment, and I'm not sure if others want to say something, or I think we have an opportunity, don't we, at open mic or something, to go up and...
Well, resolutions.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
We
about.
have to second them, and then you get a
Yes.
chance to speak.
You'll get a chance to speak, we'll have to second them and speak.
Okay.
Yeah,
You get 2 minutes.
and they're very strict on the 2 minutes.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so you have to practice. Learn some time.
I would-
Okay, let us move on here to communications for action, and the first item we have is the legislative building open house.
Yes, Madam Mayor, and this is for December the 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And since this is something that has been canceled in the past, and due to COVID hadn't occurred in the past and is now occurring this year, and we have some council members, and it's free for attendance and signed up for it. Would you like me to read the resolution?
Please.
Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and Councillor Strang and Horbus be authorized to attend the Legislative Building Open House in Winnipeg, Manitoba on December 2nd, 2023.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Boulanger seconds. Any other questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. 7.2, City of Selkirk Come and Go Holiday Reception.
Yes, Madam Mayor, that's occurring on December the 14th, 2023, 5 to 7 p.m. And it's a come-and-go holiday reception where council and administration, senior administration, are available with light refreshments. And we do have a resolution for that. Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and Councillors Horbus, Strang, Spicer, and Boulanger be authorized to attend the City of Selkirk come-and-go holiday reception at the Selkirk Civic Office on December 14th, 2023.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, second. Councillor Strang, any other comments or questions? Go ahead.
Should the CAO be on
I don't think we need a resolution for this yet.
there? Oh,
Do you really need a resolution for anybody? Like, anybody can come. Like,
We could make,
a taxpayer could come, right? Anybody can come.
anybody's open, but for council members, you're representing the municipality, so it becomes part of your indemnity.
Oh, okay, for that reason.
Yeah.
And so, if I could, maybe we should change this to the Mayor Feeblecorn and Council, as Councillor Blanche, or Besser, which is not here.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, we could do
I
that.
might go, but I
Okay,
don't
so,
know.
so
Yeah.
resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and Council be authorized to attend the City of Selkirk come-and-go holiday reception.
Okay, and I believe I had a mover and a seconder. Any further comments or questions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. The next one we have is a come and go holiday reception, Selkirk RCMP, Selkirk and Area RCMP unveiling of a new mural.
Yes, Madam Mayor, they had some school students help create a mural in their office, a 9-foot by 17-foot wall that was created, and it's done by grade 9 students. And they will be unveiling it on this Friday, and it's at 10 a.m. The ceremony starts at 10:30, and it's at the Selkirk Area RCMP office on Manitoba Avenue in Selkirk, Manitoba. So we do have a resolution for attendance. Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and Councillors Horbus and Sutherland be authorized to attend the Selkirk and Area RCMP celebration of the new reconciliation mural at the Selkirk RCMP detachment on November 24th, 2023.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbus, second Councillor Strang. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. I hate to do this, but can we go back to the legislature one? I want to have a look at that one again. I believe, if this is the right one, oh, can you open that one? I can't.
What did you need to see, Madam Mayor?
I wanted to see, I believe that I thought I read somewhere, and maybe it was just in the email, about there was to be some entertainment, and the people who were going to let's keep going.
I missed it again.
And,
You're whispering, so I can't hear.
So, okay, so Madam Mayor, moving on then?
Yeah, go ahead, but read that, just that first line there. That just came. I'll share with you guys later in camera.
From Jigdor.
Okay, so we are at new and other business, the Trails Master Plan.
The Trails Master Plan, thank you, Madam Mayor. So we have a draft of the Trails Master Plan. As you know, that the RM has received grant funding, and we started working on this in February of 2023 to create a final draft. We worked with also the RM of St. Andrews, who was doing an overall area master plan for a recreation master plan. And the RM, as you know, is a very large area with trails throughout the RM. And this Trails Master Plan takes a look at those trails and identifies priorities and the linking of those as part of our integrated linked system. The plan breaks down recommended trails and identifies priorities and cost over short, medium, and long term. The intent here is to develop a Trails Master Plan that can help in assisting for looking for funding from other levels of government for expansion as well as for future planning as we develop budgets and expansion of our trails. What we're recommending is that the RM Trails Master Plan as a final draft be accepted, that we move forward with public consultation as part of the program with this, and ask our community some questions, and then be able to, based on those, go back to our consultants and refine that Trails Master Plan, which can then be accepted and adopted as part of our strategic planning documents for the RM.
Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
This is a long time coming, and I think it's done very, very well. It certainly is going to give us that roadmap we need to, as we develop, to see where trails are going to go, where they're going to connect. Eventually maybe get a folding type map that you can open up on your bike, something small that we can produce later. I'm noticing on page 32, the trail we put in the low growth forest there, or the floodplain, isn't on there, so perhaps that's something when it does get finalized, that the developer of this document can add in that trail that we did a couple years ago in that hydro property by the river there by the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, on page 32, you'll see it goes, you don't see all the property that the new trail's on, it just sort of cuts it short and it's not even included, but maybe that's something that you just add in for us, because it is an integral part of that area.
Yes.
But really like this, it's just, thank God we got some grant money, because I don't know if this would have ever got pushed, and with that little bit of grant money, it just makes it easier for us, but this is, I know Councillor Spicer and I were talking about this about 4 years ago, and it's something that's needed, and it's a starting point, and we can even go further after this, so it's exciting.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions or comments on the plan itself? Okay.
Whereas the RM of St. Clements has a large area with trail systems already in place, and which the municipality would like to connect these systems as well as expand to create new trails. And whereas the RM of St. Clements Trails Master Plan recommends trails to be developed by priority and cost over a short, medium, and long-term timeline in order to assist in decision-making and application for funding. Therefore, be it resolved, Council accept the RM of St. Clements Trails Master Plan final draft. Further, be it resolved, administration create a public engagement survey, and further be it resolved, following results of the public engagement survey, administration bring back final Trails Master Plan to adopt into the RM of St. Clements strategic plan.
Can I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Spicer. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. The next item we have is the Grand Marais Rec, the use of the roads for the Santa Claus Parade.
Yes, Madam Mayor. This is an annual event that occurs it'll be occurring on December 9th at 12:30 PM to 1:30 PM, and we'll be using some of our roads. And as part of that, the organizer has put forward a map outlining the route of the event, and as it will be going along municipal roads, requested for use of roads approval, and we prepared a resolution to that regard. And the resolution says, whereas the Grand Marais Recreation Association has submitted a request to utilize portions of Grand Beach Road, Donald Road, and portions of Matilda Avenue to host a community Santa Claus parade, therefore be it resolved, council authorize the Grand Marais Recreation Association to utilize a portion of Grand Beach Road, Donald Road, and a portion of Matilda Avenue for the Santa Claus parade being held on December 9, 2023, starting at 12:30 PM until the duration of the parade.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second Councillor Horbis. Any other questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, that is carried. The East Beaches Fire and Rescue Vehicle is the next item on our agenda, and I believe Deepak has some comments there.
Yes, Madam Mayor, we had hoped that we would get a much more favorable tender process associated with the new rescue vehicle. This was slated for the 2024. We tried to move it up so that we could get the best deal possible. Even then, it came in higher than the one that we just acquired 6 months earlier. As you can see, the prices are escalating quite a bit, and this one is about 120,000, 125,000 more than the previous one, and it just continues to escalate. So we felt it was important, so we're moving forward. We have the funding capacity. We've checked with the Arm of St. Clements. We went out for the tender. We had there wasn't a lot of responses. We basically had the one response back to it, and we're recommending approval. I know it's a significant cost. We are also doing the review of our asset inventory with the fire departments, and this evening our protective services officer, manager protective officer is Tyler's working with the fire chiefs, and one of the discussions is how we plan to stay within our means as we're getting more and more equipment that we need to replace. But this one has been slated, and Arm Alexander is comfortable with the price increase and will pay their half on this.
Dave has a question.
Go ahead, Dave.
I wonder why there was with no other bids. It's just an unexpected way. So I'm just curious, like, strange. At Fort Garry Industries, like.
Yep, we extended it by almost a month. Bidding process to accommodate Fort Garry Industries and others to put in their bid, and at the end of the day, they decided not to bid.
Yeah.
I think the situation here is it's a supply issue out there. This is still 18 months away, so it's not like it's going to happen immediately. And I think it's a supply issue, capacity, like work capacity to deal with the demands that are coming in. And lastly, I think what it is it's because of the supply chain issues, 18-month delay. I think they built in the escalation on price escalations that they're going to be encountering for getting that equipment and parts and so forth.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So 2 questions. Same company, same specs, correct?
Correct.
And just sticking in my mind, wasn't the last one about 570? Or am I wrong?
I think it was somewhere around 578. So this is a little
It's
less
still-
than 120. But
Yeah, but it's still a significant increase.
mhm.
It's red, it has sirens, and it saves people's lives. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, these things are overpriced, it's ridiculous. I have no other words to say. It's just my honest opinion, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the kind of thing, it's almost like, you know,
You're
men's
getting
razors.
taken
We know we
advantage
need
of.
men's razors, so to buy a pack of razors is like $30 for a bunch of plastic.
Yeah.
Society knows and they know we need it. It's just, oh.
I know when Deepak was telling me on Friday, I kind of had that same reaction, like, you know, like, the government, most governments know how costly this equipment is. And whether you live in a community of 1,000 people or 100,000 people, we all need fire equipment, and I think that that's where they should be putting some money towards fire protection in all the municipalities.
Which is what the resolution here talks about. That's exactly what the resolution reads.
Yes.
So, yeah, you're right.
So we're recommending approval of this one and and as promised, we will be doing an asset inventory analysis.
Unless for the seven say no.
Unless you tell me no. I can only provide you my recommendations.
Okay, did you want to bring that forward then?
Whereas the tender was posted on the Merck's bidding system for the 20-foot walk-around heavy rescue apparatus, and whereas one bid was received from Acers Industries at a price of $621,373,061, plus taxes of $31,068.68 for a total price of $652,442.29. And therefore be it resolved that the Rural Municipality of St. Clements place the order for the rescue vehicle.
Can I have a mover, please?
Question?
Mover,
Can it move?
Councillor Horbis, Councillor Spicer seconds, go ahead.
So this isn't even for Gary, this is Acers.
Same company that's building the other one.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Only $125,000 more.
More.
How can they? No,
Okay, I have a
I already read
mover.
there.
I have a seconder. I'm gonna call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Well, if you think about it, it's 2 years away,
Mm-hmm.
5% a year.
Yeah,
You're pretty much there.
yeah.
It's a little more than that, but
Okay, the next one we have is 8.4, the request to reduce the letter of credit for one of our subdivisions.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a subdivision that's been approved over here in East Selkirk, and they've completed their works. It was set up at $512,855 as a letter of credit for the works to be done. They've completed most of the underground works and some of the road works, and so the amount is being reduced appropriately, and the warranty starts and goes on the works. But the we're reducing it to $191,285.50.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
so just a clarification. So Public Works has signed off on the works that has
Correct.
been completed.
And Public Works did the analysis to do the reduction.
Perfect, thank you.
That wasn't on the agenda, though. It wasn't attached to this decision paper.
The analysis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or their comments or whatever.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
just as a discussion, I can read the email if you like from Public Works.
Is that a subdivision?
I don't know, that's why,
So
that's
you're-
kind of one of the reasons.
Well, it's 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Just pass the start.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, I believe that Deepak did read the resolution, or not yet? Go ahead. then.
Whereas subdivision S22-29448 was conditionally approved by council on May 24, 2022, and whereas the development is nearing completion, with the exception of the asphalt surfacing, soil and seeding in the ditches and for the warranty period, and therefore be it resolved that council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements agrees to reduce the letter of credit to $191,285.50.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Sutherland seconds, and Councillor Purvis, your question.
So the asphalt isn't done?
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay,
there's
so
a-
what happens, like, it's not, asphalt's not gonna get done until next year,
Okay.
right? So how did they say how much it's gonna go up till next year? Is that, if that's gonna cover it? I'm not saying this guy's gonna walk the whatever, but I'm just saying.
That was
it's
taken
just-
into consideration.
Wait, what?
There's-
Things happen.
There's also some
Yeah.
10% holdback, there's a certain percentage applied. And the intent of the situation is that we have other means. The only reason that we have the letter of credit is if it never gets completed and then we can draw upon it to complete the
Yeah,
work.
no, I realize.
And this developer has completed all this work and they're already starting to bring in they brought in approval so that they can start construction right away. So they're gonna be going for their building permits. So, and generally speaking, some will put in the asphalt in advance, one lift, and then come up with the second lift in, or they can put in both lifts, because they do get torn up for
Yeah.
construction.
Well, I'm just saying if there's enough money, but if they allow for that.
Yeah.
Look what happened with the fire truck.
True.
That's why they,
Price escalation can
yeah,
occur.
it's just,
I agree. And that's why Public Works does the analysis. They do a review based on the engineering estimates, and the engineering estimates are usually based off of also the bids that have been provided. And we have some examples of work already being done around here.
Okay, I have a mover, I have a seconder, and if there are no further questions, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so we are down to the accounts for today. Number 9 on our agenda, the closed list of accounts, 9.2.
Resolved that council approve the November 21st, 2023 list of accounts, check numbers 23002114 to 23002178 in the amount of $296,934.79 for payment.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Belanger, discussion. I did have a couple of questions, but I can't open mine up, so I'll have to talk to you later in the week. Because I can't remember where they are. And I can't get into the AllNet, so I can't even look.
Okay.
Even after I reset the password?
Didn't work.
Okay, the next is the financial statements for October 31st, Madam Mayor.
Do we want to?
Oh, sorry, better vote on the first one, yes.
Yeah. Okay, you read the resolution though, right? I have a mover and I have a seconder. Okay, all those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so now we're at 9.2, the financial statement for the month of October.
So, resolve that the October 31st, 2023 financial statements be adopted as presented. As part of this, I'd just like to cover a few things as part of this. This is the October 31st financial statements, and what I will be requesting for is a council committee of the whole meeting in December, so that we can have a little discussion on, by then we should have the November, and we can talk about some of the findings. Because the financial statements have come across quite well, and I think it's time to have a discussion not only on where we sit financially for this year, but also to take a look at all the resolutions that are passed and where we sit on the delivery of those projects. And so what I'm hoping is by December, I'll be able to have that discussion with council. And we can certainly take a point of looking at it. What I'd like to highlight is we've had an increase in taxes added to the roll. There's been quite a bit of an increase. Another significant increase has been some of the rebate, revenues coming in from environmental revenues, from environmental services, such as curbside and rebates that we're getting from recycling. And we're having to verify those numbers, so that's why we're gonna have some time to look at it.
sorry, the money from the recycling, does that go into a basket, or does that go into a basket?
It balances against our overall revenues against expenses.
Okay, so it doesn't go towards the garbage dump?
Not necessarily, unless once we have the revenues that we need to share. As a perfect example, we have a significant increase also to what we had budgeted, like triple, 3 times the budget for the dedication fees, land dedication development fees that we have, which is showing that we still have robust development occurring in the RM. The transfers, that's why I wanted to have some time to work with Public Works to take a look at. We're showing a reduction in the number of transfers going into the capital from our reserves. And so we're always seeming to come in under budget, but the question is if we need to reevaluate, are we not moving quickly enough to acquire? Now, this year was a unique year. We've had a lot of changeovers in Public Works, but I want to verify that because we're several $1 million short in doing some of the purchasing on that capital program.
Well, and it's starting to get important,
Exactly.
right? Because if everything's going up 10% a year,
We have to start acquiring now.
like if we need it, we should be getting.
Exactly. Yeah. Which means is part of this is the other thing I wanted to discuss in December, was to be able to start doing, just as the province notified everybody last week, that they're doing their bids early in the new year for construction projects. We need to do the same thing. And we have, especially the ones that we have already approved from this year, you know, the ones that were identified as resurfacing roads that were previously demolished, those kinds of things, we need to get going on those kinds of projects. The wages and administration has come in lower, but that'll be adjusted as now we're beginning to become full staffed. We've had lots of, movement in wages throughout the RM, or throughout the organization. The bottom line here is about $2.5 million savings.
Surplus.
But that's early right now. We haven't received all the invoices, and so that's why I wanted to discuss further in December with all council.
So 2.5 there, and how much in the baskets?
Well, in our reserves, we have 8 million.
8, so, okay,
And so the 8 million of the reserves, you know, I think in 2020 we had 2.
yeah. Sandra has a question.
So things have gone quite well for the organization. We hope to continue that way.
Go ahead, Sandra.
I was just wanting a date.
Oh, for the meeting?
How-
We could have that discussion in camera if you don't mind. Oh, Madam Councilor?
So what's that?
And I'll bring up in camera too, I have a question regarding previously paved roads as well with the new way we were gonna do things, yeah.
Okay, so I've read the resolution, so
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horbus, second. Counselor Spicer, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
the next is a request for the Santa Claus Parade for the Grand Marais Recreation Association for $200.
Not Santa Claus was just talking.
We're recommending approval. I think we have the money, councilors. And so I could read off the resolve council approve the following 2023 grant request. Grand Marais Recreation Center 2023 Santa Claus Parade $200.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horbus, second, please. Counselor Sutherland, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay, Madam Mayor, the next item on the agendas are the bylaws. And this is the second and third reading for the land acquisition, as I had brought up at the first reading. This is property right next to the Dunning Transfer Station, and where they're doing construction. As part of that construction, when that land was originally subdivided, we had the right to acquire 50 feet from each side of the property that was split to have a road access. There are two ways of doing that. One is to be able to go out and do a subdivision, which would cost the RM money, or we could do it as a road plan through an expropriation purpose, and that's how this has been done. They have, both parties have signed off on it, understanding that they are giving this land up for $1 as per their obligations. and so there's no issues there, and this is just second, third reading.
So
Okay.
now, if somebody wants to do a subdivision there, and we own the land now, they still have to build the road. They,
Correct.
just because we own the land doesn't mean that we're gonna build the road.
Correct.
Okay, that's
It's
my
still,
concern.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have lots of areas where it's no different than,
I guess it's no different than when somebody gives us the land and there's no road there.
Exactly.
And if they wanna build farther, then they have to
go
build.
through.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
That's all.
Any other questions?
Okay, so.
Go ahead with that one.
Resolved that bylaw 14 of 2023 being a bylaw to acquire land for municipal purposes be given second reading.
Can I have a mover, please? Board members, or Counselor Spicer, Counselor Horbus seconds, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Now we're doing the third reading for the same bylaw, Madam Mayor, and resolved that bylaw 14 of 2023 being a bylaw to acquire land for municipal purposes be read the third time.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Boulanger, Counselor Strang seconds, all in favor? And that was unanimous. Thank you. Communications for information. I didn't see anything there that, I guess that was, yes, you all got your, or whoever, I guess whoever's going to the conference got their booklet with the report and the resolutions, and I see
Bring it up.
Deepak has pulled one up here on the screen.
This is the Selkirk Fire Department receiving a $5,000 grant from the Selkirk Foundation. Just wanted to make sure council was aware of it.
Yeah, and the East Beaches
Heritage Wing also
so,
received a
yeah.
grant for $6,000.
Right. Anything else that anyone wanted to mention on the communications for information?
Again, it's wonderful to see the legal newsletter and the continued work that they're doing.
Yeah.
What was this one?
What's that?
Undersigned.
Well, it's on here, I think we might have just got it because it was just.
Yeah, we just got it today, yes.
Yeah.
So it talks about the Halloween social, and donations they've received, and the Codes for Kids work that they've been doing, and so it goes to show that there's also kids' Christmas parties, so I think it's information. We'll look at publishing some of that on our website to help promote it, but again, it's great to see the work that's coming out of the Lebo Community Center as they're beginning to promote it more with this newsletter.
Anything, oh, go ahead, Councilor Boulanger.
On legal, topic of legal, I thought it would be interesting if we could run by that very well-organized group, the idea that the RM would consider, because there is no sign there, that we task them to come up with a design of a welcome to Lebo. I know during the election it was brought up to me, and it would be something that we could involve this organization group and these volunteers, that the RM is considering putting a sign up there, and we'd like to task them to get their creative juices flowing and come up with something that we might look at. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive, but Lebo never has had a nice, when you turn in, welcome to Lebo. You know, it could be an iconic picture of something, or it could be something that, but leave it up to them. And I think when I was going around there during the election, it was brought up once, and I brought it up a couple times after that, and it seemed to get some good traction. So I think it would be kind of cool to see what we could do there for them, because it doesn't have anything.
No, no.
They used to have a sign, somebody cut them down.
Just another world.
Yeah, it said, welcome to Lebo, just another world.
Yeah, they're onto that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councilor Stray.
I see that the group did raise enough money to, for a sign for the community center that they did in their fundraising, so
See?
maybe that's something that they'll keep building on too, so.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think that was with their chocolates.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
They did.
So if council would like, we can ask Brenna to work with them as part of this group, to come back with some sort of a proposal.
For a community center, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good idea, Ralph.
So
Anything else?
that's all I have for the informational reports that are at number 12
Okay, so council reports is next on the agenda, and I will start with Councilor Boulanger today.
Madam Chair, I don't have anything to report, other than the last meeting, at council here. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Councilor Strang.
One of the things I forgot to report on, I did on November 2nd, I did the Indigenous Awareness Training. And I forgot to report that at their last council meeting, but on November 16th, I attended with the mayor and Councillor Sutherland, the Red River Basin South Gala. It was their fundraiser for the South.
I wrote the date down.
Did I have it wrong? The 16th?
No, it's the
I put the
16th.
18th, I
Okay,
think.
it's the 16th.
Okay.
I'm wrong.
And on the 17th, which was Friday, which I was going to be doing the Sunday, but I did the Friday, I did Holiday Alley, I volunteered there.
In the evening?
In the evening, yeah. They had, they actually, with the weather the way it was, people were out in hordes, and I'm sure through Saturday and Sunday that attendance was even better.
Not on Saturday.
Oh,
There was mention that Saturday was absolutely awful in the evening, like there was nothing,
and here I thought with the weather and,
yeah.
Well, I think, and I put it right in my report, I think part of the problem was all the activities on Friday night, they had Manitoba closed, and there was lots of people walking around, and there was different events going on. Saturday, the street was open, so there was traffic and cars and everything else, and there was nothing going on Manitoba. So you really had to look for it, other than, you walked from place to place if you were doing the soup tasting. But other than the soup tasting on Manitoba Avenue, I really didn't see anything. The other thing was our sheet poetry was behind Wish Me, and then the craft sale in the Gordon Howard, and I don't know what else there was going on Saturday, like downtown.
see, and usually the craft sale was Saturday, Sunday. So this year it was Friday, Saturday. So just the change of days.
I did,
Yeah.
yeah, there was lots of good soups. I'll get to that when I do my report.
Anyways, that's
Yeah,
what I have to report.
okay, thank you for that, Sandra. Go ahead, Dave.
Cool. Thank you. I also attended the Red River Basin South Chapter Gala with Mayor Debbie and Councillor Sandra. I guess it was well attended, but there was empty seats quite a bit, right?
There was the attendance, I think, was
It
down.
was down. Actually, we were the only, I should have, sorry to interrupt. We were the only ones from the north and one of the councillors from St. Andrews. Otherwise, there was no other attendance from the north.
North chapter.
We had an office of Johnny Cash impersonator, entertainment for an hour.
I thought he was good.
I did too.
Is that the guy from Steinbach?
Mhm.
Yeah, Steinbach,
You
yeah.
guys sing along?
Some did.
He does Elvis too, I think.
Pardon?
He was actually very
He
good.
does always too, he said.
Oh, yeah, he does that. But he only did Johnny Cash, and then a duet with Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash also. Anyway, November 30th, yesterday, I attended the Northeast Red Watershed District in Duville with Councillor Spicer. It was a informational meeting, I will say. There was quite a few people missing. But some of the, I was a little disappointed, I'll say, because they're more leaning towards retention ponds. But any drains that would be in our area that would be applicable, unless there's a slide or something that, but they're not really, don't have any funding for drainage. Even on their maps, I was looking with Brian Sherman, and Devil's Creek wasn't even on the map, There was a provincial rep spokesman, Colleen, I don't know, I forget her last name, maybe you remember, Scott. But there's 113 municipalities and 14 watershed districts. And within our Red River Basin South, or the Northeast Watershed District, there's 7 sub-districts with 41 members. The new sub-districts are Broken Head River, Red River, Devil's Creek, Catfish Creek, and Gull Lake. Scott and I, we divided, there was different tables, or whoever would represent these areas. So Scott sat over with the Red River sub-district. Well, they're going to be divided as sub-district. And I went with the Devil's Creek. Unfortunately, it was only myself and Brian Shorty at that table, because the other people didn't show up.
Well, you had your earful anyway.
Pardon me?
You had some good information given to you.
Yeah. There will be an elected chair from each sub-district, and he will be a voting member. And they plan on having quarterly meetings. But I said, as I said before, right now, there's really no funding for any drainage, just mainly for retention ponds, farmers' property, whatever. It's kind of what they're leaning towards.
Anything fun you should try to do?
Go ahead, Rob.
Just a question on it. That's been a topic for quite some time, that these watersheds are looking for large plots of land that farmers would be willing to give up for huge retention ponds. So if we have a problem area where a lot of drainage isn't working properly, that we have it channel into a farmer's field where they could dig a huge pond and just retain that water and then disperse it slowly.
Right.
I know Brian's been talking about that for years, and it seems like it still seems to be a topic of the day. That the problem with that is a lot of farmers would have to be compensated for what they're giving up in crops, so it's a tough sell.
They spoke about that. The maximum funding would be $100 per acre.
Okay.
And that's maximum.
Maximum, that's at least that's what they, and the funding ratio is 3-to-1, province 3 and RM 1. If there's any money to go into the likes of detention ponds or slides or anything like that. Yeah, so it was kind of an informational meeting, and that's all I have on that for now.
Okay, thank you for that.
Do you have a question?
Sure.
So what do they hope to accomplish from this? Just a bunch of ponds, or is that what you're saying, basically?
They didn't specify just retention ponds, but I had mentioned to the one individual, about is there funding, because, this funding is 3-to-1. So is there funding for certain drains? And there is no funding. So there will be funding for retention ponds. They're going to go into a bit more detail at the next meeting.
So when you say funding 3-to-1, so only $100, so the RM would be responsible for $25.
Yeah, 3-to-1. The province will put in, it's 3-to-1 ratio.
And then if there was ditching, we'd be responsible for 25% of that ditching cost?
Well,
Is that applied to everything?
there's really
or
no,
just for the ponds?
there's nothing mentioned of any funding for drainage work
Okay.
per se, other than, like say in Cooks Creek here, along from the steam plant out to, in the last 10 years, there's a lot of places you go down with the boat where it's slumping in. So I'm guessing that might apply, I don't know.
Well, see, when you say that that way though, like to me, if they're looking at retention and no cleanouts in drainage ditches, like, that's not gonna help many people.
Well, unless Scott more than I did on this, but they really didn't touch on that, what the, it's,
Every farmer I know is draining his land, because they wanna get more, to have more crop on it, and, you know, that it's not flooding or whatever, so.
their idea there is to concentrate on retention ponds, so that you know, the water in the springtime or whatever, and it'll go into a retention pond and slowly drain off, or whenever it's needed, a big rainstorm. Maybe, I'm sure we'll have more information, but definitely there's no commitment to money as far as drainage works that I heard, unless I missed it, but that's all I can tell you for now.
Okay, that's all you got today?
Yeah, unless you'd like me to sing or anything like that.
No, not right now, maybe when
Picked
we
up
go
a few
into.
songs from
Were you Willie then?
Go,
that. Willing to sing?
No, Willie Nelson?
Willie to
Well,
say.
I love Willie Nelson, yeah.
go ahead, Counselor Corbett.
I have, from our last meeting till now, I have nothing to report, thank you.
Thank you for that.
I can tell you about the terrible Grey Cup game that I went this weekend.
Go ahead, Counselor Spicer.
You have to buy a new phone, I heard. Smashed your phone.
On November the 15th, we had a regular planning regular meeting, and there was some discussions there. You guys had asked me to talk to them about, so we can chat about that on camera. November the 20th, I also attended our watershed meeting, so that was Councilor Sutherland and I and our three citizen reps attended. As Councilor Sutherland stated, Mr. Petoskey and I put down for, they hadn't really put us into any sub-districts, so we just decided which ones we were going to go to. So we're in the Red River one, and Councilor Sutherland basically reported most of it. My understanding of it is, and let's be clear, this is like a preliminary meeting. Like they started at basically what is a watershed, because you know some people brand new at this stuff. So the information passed out was pretty basic. Just to add on to what Councilor Sutherland said, so ours is a little bit interesting because part of it is what they call an infrastructure section. So we have part that's an infrastructure section and part that isn't. Now, the infrastructure section is basically the old Cooks Creek. So it's not in our RRM, number one. Number two, they had taken over some of the provincial drains. But now, when we think about this, like, I don't know what we ended up paying, what was it, about $12,000? So most of that is in Springfield. Well, they put in almost $200,000 a year. So that's the difference. So that's how you're getting drainage work. Okay. The way I understood it was, if something came up that the RM wanted done, mostly close to other boundaries of other RMs, the idea was is the RMs would get together decide if they want to do the project. They could get some grant funding outside. Like there's a whole bunch of different grants that the province has put together. But you'd have to apply, and then maybe that's how you could get some grant funding to it. But the way I understand it's going to work, for the most part, is this is farmer based. And most of the funding is farmer based. So in a lot of ways, what we're doing is we're going to be promoting the programs. Like if somebody phones us up and says, hey, I want to do X, Y, or Z, or what can I do? Then if you're the rep in that sub-district, you can bring that forward and see what can be done and what can't be done. See, the retention pond things, I don't know, I kind of have a somewhat different view of it. Like, in the group we were talking about, like, Springfield has done a retention pond that it's 110 acre feet of water. It's huge. And in a way, I think that's good for us, because otherwise that water would be coming flying at us. Right? At least it's being slowed down.
Held back, yeah.
Right? So I think there's some benefit to this, but I don't think you're gonna see a bunch of big, huge projects like that. Like some of the ones they showed were a lot smaller. And they probably would have to be to get the farmer involved. Like you need a low spot that doesn't grow much, because you're only paying them $100 an acre, right? So I think there's going to be a lot more smaller projects. The challenge we would have is everything's pretty flat here. So if you got flat land, how do you know, is it cost effective to do any of that?
So is it only the first time, like if you got, just say for example, you've got 5 acres, that's a swamp. So you go to them and every year they give you $500 for that?
You gotta sign a 5 to 10 year agreement, one or the other. And my understanding is you would get a payment every year
Yeah.
for however long you sign. So it's very preliminary stuff, and is it gonna solve all our drainage problems? I agree with you, the answer is no. The other challenge is going to be, like in our area and everywhere else outside of that infrastructure area, there's nothing saying the province is gonna do any work on their drains. And that's part of our problem. But I think as we get closer into it, like in our area, we only have 4 members, 2 from ours and 2 from Springfield. And we've kind of decided already that the guy who wasn't there is going to be the guy who's the one that goes to the board.
Well, you guys made that decision at your table.
Yeah. Well, mainly because he's the only one that has any experience. The 3 of us are all brand new to this. He's been on the board before.
We never had anybody at our table except Brian.
So, you know, I guess we're supposed to have a meeting before that and finalize it, but we've kind of ran all over the main already. So it's, I mean, I've brought some paperwork with me. They've done the integrated watershed management plan for Cooks Creek. But see, none of the other areas have anything like that. Like the area that I'm in doesn't have it. The stuff up north doesn't have it.
So there were people there from our representation that worked there, right?
Well, I think we need 3 people, and they were all there. Like,
No, but there was more.
oh,
Signed up?
from council?
Yeah.
No.
Because I wasn't there, right?
No. But the 3 citizen reps did come.
Okay, but there were
Who
more
was the third
citizens.
one? It was Dennis, it was not Dennis. Yeah, Dennis
Kaminsky.
Kataski, Kaminsky, Orst.
Horst was there.
Hofer
Okay.
was one too. Rick Hofer was supposed to be
Oh,
one.
he didn't,
We see her.
Sorry?
I'm checking who the,
Pretty sure he was on there too.
yeah,
I
I think
thought
you're
Glenn
right.
was on there too.
I think you brought him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Glenn's not
Glenn's not around.
here.
No, I'm just saying, like, two of council were missing, and then it would have been Rick would have been missing, Hofer. Was there not more?
I think there was supposed to be 3 more.
we only found 3 citizens, so Brian, Dennis, and Rick. And we only appointed so far Debbie, David, Dave, Scott, and Glenn, but
Okay, so then there also was only me and Debbie were missing from council?
And Glenn.
Glenn.
And Glenn, that's 3. And then Rick, you say he's on there?
Rick was,
Yeah, and he never made it? Okay. But we needed more citizens, didn't we? I thought there was.
I think we're still short at least one. I think we are.
Okay, so,
You could take my,
so having said that,
you could take my place at the next meeting.
did they give a date for the next meeting?
There will be a sub-district meeting, which is the quarterly meetings, before the end of January, because we have to elect our rep to the board. And the board is gonna meet monthly. So whoever gets elected, it's a lot more involvement.
Well,
Go ahead, Rod.
I mean, I think we all know, I mean, this is my opinion. I mean, we all know where conservation districts went, came and gone. They've turned it into watershed districts now, correct? And created a whole new model of having reps and RM reps, and it's just, to me, it's just again smoke and mirrors with the province fumbling with drainage issues that is of their concern. They started with conservation districts, it didn't go anywhere. When Glenn and I went to the conference in Brandon about 4 or 5 years ago, they said what their part would be, the province, would be that they would fast track permits, that they would make and take away the red tape. That if we all agreed to go in these districts, that their part would be to get rid of some red tape and fast track permits, and that if you got a permit once, you didn't have to get it again. Well, I don't see any, I don't think that ever came to be. So I hate to be the negative Nelly, but I just think this is just another provincial way of getting so many people involved and making it look like we're important, that we belong to these groups and these committees, and at the end of the day, the province themselves don't do the job that they're supposed to do, which is take care of their own drains. It's still a bit of a, it's a slough off. That's my opinion, I wanted it stated, and that's where I stand.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
The other problem is if you actually wanted watershed districts to do what they're supposed to do, there's not enough money there. So there's that side too.
Yeah.
That was even spoken right out in the meeting.
if we could get a representative, I guess we couldn't get one from Broken Neck from the First Nation. Would that be able to come on this board or no? Or is that, I guess not, because
Councillor
that's,
from Broken, I'm sorry, go ahead. It was brought up, he said they should be involved in it.
yeah, because they're all, yeah. And that thing, I think, Rob, if you do get a permit for a ditch, it's forever now.
Yeah,
That did get passed.
I think that.
Yeah, because when Public Works was here, I think I asked them that question, and they said, yeah, once you get a permit for the ditch once, you have it for forever. That's changed. So
But that's
that
just
part
for.
of it-
As long as you don't change the drainage.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
long
as
as,
long as it's,
yeah.
yeah, you
Slow.
don't modify the drain at all. Okay, anything else on the drainage and Councillor Spicer's report?
No, we wait to hear what you're saying.
I see.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Scott. I only have a couple of things here too. It was, well, only a week between, so not much to report. Anyways, November the 14th, well, that was our regular meeting. November the 15th, the RRPD regular meeting, and I'll have to say the same thing as Councillor Spicer. We'll probably have a little bit more discussion in camera on that meeting. We did our regular board business and then went into camera to discuss a few things that are kind of hanging around, and we're going to be having an executive committee meeting in the not too distant future. So November the 16th, I had a WMR meeting. The board chair actually reviewed the process for an AGM because we were supposed to have an AGM, but because WMR 2.0 hasn't been around for a year, it was decided that we shouldn't be having our AGM until we have our year's worth of books and things like that to look at, so that was deferred. We had our regular meeting following that, and there were various items discussed, and a couple of the, I guess, more popular ones were the population figures again from the Plan 2050 report, and Winnipeg having the veto power were discussed. Now, we've got some clarification on the veto power from the provincial FAQ planning region FAQs, so I got a copy of that and I was going to send it over to Deepak. I just got it yesterday, but we're going to be moving forward, but it's going to be very, very slow. So I guess most of the municipalities seem to be on board now a little bit better than they were in the beginning. Other than some are not happy with, you know, the three things that I keep hearing is Winnipeg's ability to veto, the population figures, and the agricultural lands. Like, I guess for me, the agricultural lands in our municipality, like, they can't all be, they're not good agricultural lands, so why can't we do something else with them? So that was my take on that one. And then I was with Councillor Strang and Councillor Sutherland at the South Basin Red River Basin South Chapter fundraiser. Then on Friday, we had our staff appreciation lunch at the rec center here. I ran into one of the public works employees later on that day, and he told me that he really appreciated it, and whoever organized everything did a very good job. So I'm just passing that on for Heather and the staff here in the office. And then on the 17th and 18th, I did take in Holiday Alley. I took in the street party on Friday night, and the turning on of all the Christmas lights downtown. It was kind of neat. I did also do the soup tasting on Saturday, and was a bit disappointed, as I said earlier, that there were no activities on Manitoba Avenue on Saturday. So I don't know if that was on purpose or whether they just couldn't get anything, because on Friday night they had a stage at each end. Like, the big stage was at the east end and the smaller stage was at the west end, and there was lots of people moving around, and Saturday there was none of that. So, and that's all I have. So I'll turn it over to you, Pat.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I have my noted report. So first, with the curb stop connections, the contractor is in the process of completing all the curb stops this year. And we anticipate with the added benefit of good weather, I think we'll be able to finish up anything that's outstanding. The other is the St. Clement's Activity Center. The design-build contractors have agreed to the final contract, and the RM has signed a design-build contract with them. As to the regional water line, the project contractor has been installing pipes along the alignment of the floodway, working towards the water treatment plant, and all alignment issues along the highway control zone that I identified were problematic have been rectified, and I'll be meeting with the property owner to enter construct agreements so we can finish up the north end so that the water lines can come up to the water treatment plant. As to the Lockport wastewater treatment plant, the project for the lift station and Lockport decommissioning RFP selection has started, and the RM is awaiting award of the contract of the successful bidder. The top three, there were several bidders in there. The top three bidders reviewed are consistent with the budget identified by the engineering consultant, so we're within budget. So there isn't any real increase. As a matter of fact, it was within hundreds of dollars of the estimates, which is quite surprising. The Manitoba Water Services Board will be awarding this, and the recommended award has been sent over to the Water Services Board, but I didn't have a name to award by them, so I wasn't able to share that publicly. As to the general meetings, Regional Water Line Project, as well as the St. Clements Activity Center project meetings, and then various general meetings with business operations. As to our monthly updates on fire department statistics, let me just pull this up so that you can see it better. East Selkirk was able to provide August, September, and October. As you may recall, they were behind on those. This time, East Beaches is behind for the month of October, but we have the East Selkirk on the left and Narrow on the right as to the number of calls. So East Selkirk received 6 emergency calls from August to October. 11, or in August they received 6, September they received 11, and October they received 4. Narrow received 7 emergency calls in October.
So that pie shows the 3 months, right?
Combined.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Sorry.
And at East Beaches Department, there wasn't any data available for October. The monthly update from bylaw enforcement and animal control for the RMC Clements. For animal control, we had 12 complaints, 5 cautions, 9 dogs at large, 1 dog barking, and they did 2 patrols. As to the bylaw enforcement, they finished for the summer the enforcement that we do, so there is no more to report other than it was a very good year. I have to say that we've had, it was a very good year for PBLE, just overall enforcement throughout, and especially some of the more habitual areas that we've had issues with in the past didn't seem to be occurring this year, which was really good to see. Even some of the events that have occurred went well without much involvement in PBLE. So that's been a good year. As to general updates, we continue to complete the TIF bylaw. I hope to have that finished up and then we can start moving on it. Addressing the resolutions issued by during the budget review, as I mentioned, that we want to go through all those and preparing an update to the update to correspondence for the new ministers as discussed with council. That all those updates that we would have an update regarding speed along various highways areas, as well as Highway 44 and so forth. We were going to send out a letter regarding safety along Coville, as well as safety along Henderson for where we have had some accidents. And then we were going to talk about the hunting on the floodway, as well as addressing issues related with drainage that we've brought to the attention of the province of Manitoba in the past.
Question?
Go ahead, Rob.
The safety letter for Colville would be the one that was submitted already?
Correct.
You can redo, rejig it?
We'll be
Okay.
rejigging the statement.
The one that I did for the floodway, you and I chatted briefly about that. I'm really frustrated. The fellow that I knew very well retired. So when that letter was sent to him, he was to bring it to his director within wildlife, which he did. She dragged her feet on it, and I tried calling her a number of times, and to no avail. So I think we do need to resend that letter to the new person that's in his position and have that letter resent to her. But I think it's important when we do redraft the letter that we indicate that this mirrors the letter that was sent on whatever date, September 2021, so they know that we did send it the first time and we got no traction. I think it's important that we mention that little piece, that this is our second effort to get some reply from the province.
Yeah, we'll make a point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the other is the draft heritage bylaw has been completed, and we'll be discussing that in camera with council today. As well as the tax sale process did not occur, as all properties were redeemed. And finally, the public works heavy equipment review for asset management will be brought forward for council. We which is just being gratified. And lastly, I am happy to announce that our public works manager is a proud father of a baby boy that was born a few days ago, so he is taking some time off right now in order to manage that. Or in order to get used to having a child in his house. Not necessarily manage, because you can't manage.
Getting used to not sleeping.
Yes.
Congratulations to the Grabowski family.
Yes, yes.
And that's my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you for that, and I guess we can go in camera.
Heather?
Oh, Heather, sorry, Heather, do you have anything that you want to report on
The only thing that I noticed through email today, I updated Deepak yesterday about tax sale, but Board of Revision for tomorrow is canceled, which means the assessor must have came to an agreement with everybody. Submitted an
But
So-
unfortunately, the other group wasn't able to contact the assessor. They're gonna have to deal with the assessment department. We really have no.
Like, are you referring to Kent?
Yes.
No, if Deepak
Right.
is, yeah, yeah.
But they came to agreements with who's ever sent in appeals before the deadline,
Right,
so we do not have to have the Board of Revision tomorrow.
okay, but when did you find that out? Like,
Find out what,
that there was no board?
I think yesterday or today.
Okay, so you notified like Forrest and all the,
Rose would do that, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So now we can move in camera. Go ahead, Sandra.
I was just gonna say, and I'm sure we all got each other's email, which was great, just a reminder about the Christmas party and the tin for the bin, and
I'll
Do you
get
need
you
any-
guys, I'll still get you guys the info for the actual HAPR program. Brenna and Taylor haven't sent anything, but you guys wanted the phone number to the case
Right,
residents
just
call,
for-
I'll get that to you.
I think we were gonna discuss that.
No, we're going to need
Do you need any silent, and you know, I have a silent option, also, that they didn't bring today. For the Christmas break.
Okay, we have the resolution to move in camera. We can-
Resolved, council recess the regular meeting and go to in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues. And further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)D of the municipal act.
Can I have a mover, please? Council Boulanger, Councilor Strang, seconds, all in